Hello, good morning. You are welcome to Diaspora Weekly. My name is Ama Benpoma and I'm sitting in for Jermaine Nkrumah, who is currently on a working vacation in the United States. This is a special edition of Diaspora Weekly because today we're bringing you an explosive interview of the now world famous Her Excellency Dr. Arikana Chihombori Quao, a former AU ambassador to the United States. Now, this interview was conducted by Jermaine Nkrumah in Dallas, at the Omni Park West Dallas area, where the ambassador had been invited to speak at the African Diaspora Conference. Now, you may recall that Ambassador Chihombori Quao has become a mainstay within the African political scene with her strong and vocal opposition to France, where, in her view, France is still bullying her colonies. Anyway, Jermaine started this interview by getting to know exactly who Arikana Chihombori Quao is. Let's listen.
We're blessed to be joined for a sit-down interview with the now world-famous Ambassador Dr. Her Excellency Arikana Chihombori Quao.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad to see you.
Thank you
I've
for having
admired
me.
you from afar, and it's just a dream to actually finally get to sit down and talk with you. I know you're busy, and we really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. I mean, when you got out there, people literally mobbed you, but you were kind enough to Diaspora Network Television. We appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me.
Very good. I want to start with, you're a global phenomenon now, but
I didn't know that.
you didn't know that. You are. And everybody pretty much wants to hear what you have to say. But what we do at Diaspora Network Television, we want to know you first. So who is Ambassador Chihombori Quao?
Arikana is a little girl who grew up in a village called Chivu in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And I came to this country 42 years ago to go to college.
Okay.
And I've been here since.
Wow. And when you got off the plane, I mean, this may not be a very good question, but I'm sure you didn't expect any of this.
No, my memory of getting off the plane is taking a taxi from JFK to New York City.
Okay.
And the cost of the taxi fare was $10.
Oh, wow.
And I gave this taxi driver $20. And when I asked for my change, he says, "What change?" And he took off.
Wow.
I remember that very well.
That was a
my
good,
$10.
interesting welcome to New York.
And I did not expect it. I said, "What? Americans can do this too?"
Exactly. Those are things that, when we're on a continent, we don't know these things. We think of America, we think about a lot different. So when you got here, how has it been? School and all that? I mean, the reason why I'm asking this is when you are such a world figure now, people don't think you go through the normal things that we all go through. You're getting familiarized with America and all that. What was it like?
Well, in my case, I was going to be going to school in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
First of all, my geography teacher back home in Zimbabwe, he was from New Zealand.
Ah.
And when we were studying the Tennessee Valley Authority, he called it Tenise Valley.
Tenise,
So
okay.
here I was telling everybody that I was going to Tenise.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't until later, about a week later, when somebody said, "Where is that?"
Where is that?
I said, "You don't know where Tenise is?" And she said, "Spell it." So when I spelled it, she said, "Oh, you mean Tennessee." And so those were some of the things. When you go to Tennessee, it's a different kind of American English.
Okay.
It's called Southern.
Right.
And I thought I understood English. I thought I spoke English very well until I went to Tennessee.
Wow.
And then, of course, the local lingo, when they say, "Can I carry you?" And I'm picturing somebody carrying me on their back. They just meant, "Can I give you a ride?"
Wow.
You go into a store and you buy something, they say, "Hurry back." I rush and go back to the cash register only to be told, "Oh, no, I mean for you to come back to see us." And I say, "Why? Why should I come back to see you?" And but again, it's called Southern hospitality. So I had a lot of that to learn.
Wow.
Even now, I'm still learning the lingo. But the biggest issue that it took me a long while to really realize and appreciate it is what I'm now calling BFF. Not best friend forever, but being black, being female, and being foreign.
Oh.
Those are 3 layers that in any situation, be it a job application, in any area that you're trying to go through a door, in order to be on the same platform with everybody else, as a woman, you need to first of all go through those 3 layers. So we are not equal.
Wow.
It is just the way it is. So realizing that you got to go through those 3 barriers before you become equal, it makes the fight a little bit easier.
Are you expecting money from your relations abroad? Have you ever been defrauded of your money remittance? Open an ADB account today. Send your name and your account number to your relations abroad. Ask them to use MoneyGram direct to account service and receive your money in your account in minutes. With MoneyGram direct to account service, there's no PIN code wahala. You can now access your money on all ATMs in Ghana or send it to any mobile money wallet using ADB mobile banking app or shortcode *767#. Visit our branches nationwide to conveniently receive your Western Union, MoneyGram, RIA, Unitylink, Transfast, and Express Money Transfers. Reach us on our Facebook, website, or call our hotline on 0302 210 210 for more information. ADB, truly agri and more.
Hello and welcome back. This is Diaspora Weekly. My name is Amabin Poma, sitting in for Jermaine Nkrumah, who is on a working vacation. Now, the interview moved to the early life in the United States of Chihombori Quao. Let's go back to the interview.
Absolutely.
Talk about career. You're a medical doctor.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Did you have to experience some of those 3 Fs?
You can say that again. Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
My first residency was in general surgery in New York City. Clearly, 93 residents, and out of the 93, 5 were women. It was very clear to us that we were not wanted there. The men looked at you like, what are you doing here?
Oh, really?
And in my case, I was the only foreign. There were other women, but they were, I remember distinctly one lady was an attending, but as far as residents, I was the only black, I was the only female, and I was the only foreigner. And so, but that experience it made my struggle a steeper uphill battle. The other women still had to deal with the chauvinistic males who did not think we were in business being there as female general surgery residents. And this was back in the 80s. Things have really changed now. We have more women now in healthcare. But back then, even when you became a doctor, you go into the hospital and the nurses are treating you like you're a nurse. You could walk
even
into
though you have your white coat on.
You have your white coat, you have your stethoscope, and you walk into a patient's room and you introduce yourself. I'm Dr. So-and-so. You examine them, and when you finish, they look at you like, when is the doctor coming? And you say, but I am the doctor. I introduced myself. I just finished examining you. The nurses themselves, they want to act as if they know more than you just because they're white nurses. So at every level, you're having to deal with that. Where as a woman, you don't belong there. And it's even worse. But being a female, actually, even white female doctors experience the same discrimination simply because they are a woman. You could walk into the exam room with a medical student who happens to be white, and you are the doctor, and the patient will pay attention to they keep looking for response from the medical student just because they happen to be a white man. So it's still there, alive and well, but the good thing is now more and more doctors are females.
Very good.
Now more and more doctors, women in particular. It used to be, I remember distinctly, one black patient who did not want to be seen by a black doctor.
Oh, wow.
Did not even want to be seen by a woman in a clinic.
So with all this one, did it shape your resilience?
Well, you get to realize that people are just ignorant. And you can't really allow that to bother you. They are ignorant, so we just pray for them. And we keep going.
So So as you went through your profession, how long were you did you practice?
I was in private practice for 25 years.
For 25 years, and it got easier, I assume.
Oh, you just get older and you say, you pick your battles,
Okay.
and you just rise above it.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, the world is full of ignorant people,
Yeah.
and we pray for them.
But I noticed that the fire in you has been burning for a long time. Because
Absolutely.
most people would have encountered with that, would say, you know what, that's how the world is, that's the way things are, let me just mind my business. Why is that not the option for you?
It's not an option because I grew up in a Rhodesia that was apartheid. And I grew up with a father who reminded us that the British were thieves, they stole our land. And he lived long enough to still remember where our original land was. Mm-hmm. And we would pass by there, and he would always say, that is our land. Wow. And the British took it away from us, but we will get our land back. Okay. And so I was raised by a father who reminded me of the injustices of this world.
Okay.
And the realization that I grew up in an unjust environment.
Okay.
And to this day, I wake up and I still find myself in an unjust world.
Okay.
And when I was given a platform as the AU representative to the United States, I was representing 1.27 billion people in the United States, okay, and over about 400 million people of African descent around the globe. Okay. I was not going to sit on that platform.
Very good.
That was a platform that I was given to represent, and
okay,
I used that platform to speak our mind and address the issues.
That is going to be the center of our conversation. But with what you told me about Rhodesia and the land issues, I can't help but think about the approach with which Mr. Mugabe came in as a leader of Zimbabwe. Mm-hmm. What did you think of that? Because in my opinion, I think he's got a lot of bad rap. What do you think?
I agree with you.
Okay.
Because this man stood for what many of us should stand for.
Okay.
We got to defend our turf.
Okay.
If you look at what's being done to the Africans today,
okay,
anywhere else is a reason for all-out war.
Okay.
Only the black men will sit back and allow another man
okay,
to do that to them.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I have a beef to pick with all black men.
Okay.
Where are you? Where have you been? What do you think you're doing?
You know what? When you say that, do you know the story of Yasantua?
Yes, I do.
Are you modern day Yasantua?
I don't know. But I do know that you men, you have disappointed us.
Okay.
You have let us down.
Okay.
And it's time that you stand up
okay,
and defend us.
Very good. AU, let's talk about AU. A whole lot of them are men.
Yes.
So basically, they're just towing the line.
Absolutely.
What should we do about that?
Well, we have to understand also that to some extent, I do cut you a little bit of slack as black men. The fear is real. When you look at what the colonizers have done, particularly France, when leaders have tried to pull out of the pact for the continuation of colonization, the leaders found their heads on the chopping block. There were coups in those countries, and those leaders were assassinated. Yeah. So the fear is real. Okay. The small economies that we have today as African countries, these are economies that clearly cannot survive on their own. Okay. They are economies that are easy to destabilize. Okay. So in our analysis of what needs to happen, we go back to what our Pan-African fathers wanted to accomplish in 1963, when they came up with the compromise of the Organization of African Unity. Had the Casablanca Group won, when Kwame Nkrumah and the other 6 countries, Ghana, Guinea, Mali, Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia, they said, Africa for the Africans, African Union now. Had we succeeded at doing that back in 1963, Africa would be in a very different place. Yes. Berlin Conference left us in a very bad losing lane. Okay. It was a strategy designed to see to it that Africa and her children are forever defeated and dominated. Okay. That strategy remains in place today. When Togo tries to push back, it's an easy economy that can be destabilized at the push of a button. Right. When Equatorial Guinea, when Central African Republic, this was intentional. Where I fault us as black people is why it has taken us this long to come together for the sheer survival of 1.27 billion people. Wow. There is a responsibility in each and every one of us to realize and understand that we have vacated Africa's place on the world stage. And we've vacated it by simply failing to believe not only in ourselves, but in each other. Okay. We are the only race that does not come together when it comes to defending our turf. That singularly has been our failure. That singularly is where you black men must begin. Okay. It starts with the conversation, with the image in the mirror. Black men, stop being colonized. Okay. Stop behaving like a colonized individual. Okay. We need to speak and defend our Africa.
You mentioned something about the fear is real. And so let me paint a scenario for you. If I become, or let me use for example, if you woke up one morning and you find yourself as the leader of, say, Mali or Senegal, right? Based on, and I'm sure you're aware of this, you see this injustice and you say, hell no, we're going to do something about this. Right. But just when you start to do something about it, France will reach back into your country and talk to me, your opposition leader.
Right.
And we start trouble. Next thing you know, you're off. So it's much easier for you to just toe the line. Otherwise, it's inevitable. So what conversation needs to occur between the leader, in this particular scenario, you the leader of Senegal, and me the opposition, what understanding has to be fostered for me to know that, look, even though I'm your opposition leader, I want your seat, but what you're doing is right, and France, you cannot influence me. How do we do that?
You are hitting the nail in the head. What is needed for Africa to be liberated today is for us to remove the shackles of the mind. Okay. We are a sick and wounded people, and we need healing. And I often say we are not in the doctor's office with our illness of the mind. We are not even in the general ward in the hospital. We are in the intensive care. We need healing. We must accept that as black people, we are sick and we need healing. And that healing is in the mind.
Head, yes.
And until that healing takes place, nothing is going to change. Okay. The most dangerous thing for Africa today is a colonized African. Okay. And we need to seek the healing that we deserve in order for Africa to move forward. Okay. It's okay to fight as a family, internally. But when the outsider comes in, we forget our differences and we deal with the enemy. Yeah. Until Africa gets to that point when we stand up proud and tall as Africans and understanding that our sheer survival begins with our unity, nothing is going to change. Okay. The exploitation will continue. So I say to my fellow Africans, we need healing. Okay. Let's decolonize ourselves. Okay. Let's eliminate the legacy of slavery. And this is true of not only Africans on the continent, but Africans around the globe. Okay. We are sick.
My name is Novi.
The name is Phil.
Iman is the name.
Laugh
and learn.
What is the biggest animal in the world?
King Kong.
What's the meaning of the I in iPhone?
iTunes.
What is Facebook?
It's a book that you say to your face.
What is the last book of the Bible?
Methodist.
Your father is a landlord. What will you be?
Land commission.
House owner.
Land rover.
What do we do at the grocery shop?
They play football.
Who is Santa Claus?
Teacher or chepi.
Welcome back to Diaspora Weekly. Let's return to the interview.
So now this is where we bring you to the hospital, the hospital environment. You're a doctor. From my vantage point, I think you've hit on the most important point, which constitutes the diagnosis. So what is the prescription? What will it take for us to get over this mind, the shackle of the mind? What will it take? I mean, I'm sure as you've been doing this, you've had some quiet time when you've thought about specifically the things that need to be done, the steps that need to be taken for us to get over that hump.
First of all, you'll find that the majority of us don't even realize that we are sick. So the conversations need to take place that get to people to say, you know what, maybe I have a problem. Because if you don't realize you're sick, how do you go to the doctor?
You're right. You're right.
You see? And that's where most of us are. We don't even realize that we are sick.
Yeah.
A simple case of a Chinaman putting up a shop next door to a black man's shop in a black neighborhood. Give it 2 months, the black man is going to go out of business.
That's right.
Because us black people will patronize the Chinaman or the white guy.
Yeah.
Why is that? How stupid can we be? But we do it without thinking. Bring that out. Force people to have a serious conversation with the image in the mirror. Who are you? Why are you doing what you're doing? Do you care at all about your children, your grandchildren, and generations to come? When you patronize a non-black person in your black neighborhood, you are dripping. You are robbing money out of your own neighborhood. The black money stays in the black neighborhood. It doesn't even make it half the block.
Yeah.
Chinese money stays in the Chinese community 14 times.
Yeah. Yeah. It's envy. How do we get
It's
over
beyond
the envy?
envy. It's stupidity.
Okay. So now, my next thing is this. So we are a people who definitely need to change. I saw a video. You know, the Chinese, they're not exactly known for their religious beliefs. Matter of fact, I think I heard that churches are not, come on, don't quote me on it, but I don't think we have a lot of churches in China. I saw a video recently in Ghana where a Chinese man now has a church and he's praying to people, he's putting his hand on them, and oh, by the way, he takes his cash right there before he puts his hand on you.
Yes.
And we're lined up.
Well, I'll tell you another good one. I think you heard the story about this white guy in Kenya who called himself Jesus.
Oh, really?
And there was yes, and of course I loved the headline. It says, Kenya expels Jesus.
Oh, they expelled him.
There were two Kenyan guys who were now going around with him.
Okay.
Saying he was Jesus Christ and making people pay.
Okay.
So, of course, the Kenyan government heard about it and they expelled Jesus Christ. So, yes, he's a Chinaman who saw an opportunity to make money. A lot of our own people are doing it, taking money from the people in the name of religion.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, those are just human frailties.
Okay.
Human beings will take advantage. He needs to be stopped the same way many other pastors that look like you and I who are taking advantage of the people. We must go after all of them and shut them down.
You're not worried about security?
I'm speaking my truth.
About security, it has to have crossed your mind because these people don't play.
Hasn't even occurred to me. I'm just a mother, a grandmother who's speaking the truth because I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
So, looking forward to Africa, what do you think? Are we going to ever get it?
Yes, we are going to get it. We don't have a choice. This is do or die, which is why I am going to continue to speak. I'm going to run around this country like a chicken without a head until every black person who needs to hear the message, who needs to hear the truth about what is really going on in our Africa, has heard. Okay. Quite often, the reason we do not respect our Africa, the reason we as black people, we are our own worst enemy, because we are the ones who dog the continent. And I realized my own assessment as a doctor is that we don't know our Africa. We know our Africa based on what they want us to know our Africa. Okay. We need to truly understand what is going on on the continent. Sure. And this is one of the reasons why I am continuing to speak, because when we understand what is really going on in Africa, when we can see what the problems are and address them from the root, not from a superficial level, that is when true healing is going to take place. Okay.
The final thing that I want to talk to you about is the diaspora, the African diaspora. It is a huge resource.
Absolutely.
And I'll give you some numbers. Ghana, 2018, the World Bank says that remittances from Ghanaians abroad was 3.3 billion. Now, our own internal diaspora network television survey tells us that of all the Ghanaians who send money home, 29.9% does not send it by formal means.
Absolutely.
They send it by informal means.
Absolutely.
If you do the simple math, you're looking at about $4.7 billion in 2018.
Absolutely.
Cocoa brings in 2.4 billion. Gold, we used to call ourselves Gold Coast, brings in 2.2. So when you put gold and cocoa together, it's 4.6 billion. So when you put cocoa and gold together, it's still less than what the diaspora brings in.
Absolutely.
Nobody takes us seriously.
Again,
what would it take?
It goes back to the same stupidity. I mean, the low-hanging fruits, the dumb things that we do as black people are mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Even cocoa should be bringing a heck of a lot more than that.
Yeah.
65% of the world cocoa comes from West Africa, and yet we do not dictate the price of cocoa. Why aren't we manufacturing our own hot chocolate and chocolate bars? It's only now that Ghana is beginning to have value addition to the cocoa.
$400 with Cote d'Ivoire.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
And that's still pittance compared to what we should be doing. Yes. There is a whole city built in Pennsylvania, Hershey, based on the cocoa from West Africa. There is a whole city built in Cadbury.
Is there a cocoa plant in Hershey?
None. Same thing in Cadbury.
Okay.
How dumb do we have to be? How long has this been going on before we say enough is enough? They were too busy making Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana compete on the prices of cocoa. All the presidents had to do is cross the border, go talk to each other as brothers.
Which the good news is they have done finally done.
Finally.
Yes.
How long did it take?
Exactly.
It goes back to the stupidity that I talk about. Yeah. That we all must wake up and say enough is enough. Yeah. This stupidity has got to stop.
Okay.
That we, the richest continent on earth, we have got to have value addition to our natural resources before they leave the continent. That we, the richest continent on earth, must and will begin to dictate the prices of all our natural resources if anybody needs them from the continent. That can only happen when we speak with one voice, as one Africa, one continent, speaking with one voice. That is why people must realize the African Continental Free Trade Area is a monumental decision that all of us must join the African heads of states in supporting it. Its implementation come July of next year must be a resounding success, and we, the diaspora, are in a perfect position to pull our funds together, and once and for all, we must reclaim that which was denied to us when we got our independence, that is economic liberation. Nobody's going to give us the economic liberation. We have to take it. Come July, we want to have at least $1 billion deposited.
And I believe you're going to be in Ghana in July.
Oh, you bet.
Good.
Yes, the Secretariat, we're proud of President Nanado for having the Secretariat for the AFCFTA in Ghana. We say to him, congratulations, and they could not have found a better home for the Secretariat than Ghana.
Thank you so much. And by the way, Diaspora Network Television, we set up just for that purpose, because we believe that the resources of Africans that are spread all over the world is something that Africa can use. And so our focus is the member of the diaspora, and anything that we can do to help with your cause, with registering a database for all Africans in the diaspora, I want you to know you can count on us.
Thank you so much.
And I also want to say that let me be the first to extend an invitation to you to Ghana. It's not on an official capacity, but I think whenever you're ready, I'm sure the red carpet will be rolled for you.
My brother, I do not need an invitation to Ghana.
Good.
Ghana is home.
Good. Actually, yes. Yes. I forgot about that. How can I do this? Mr. Quao.
Yes.
Your husband?
Absolutely. Yes.
It's a Ghanaian.
I live in a home with 5 Ghanaians.
Wow.
And I am a Ghanaian, by the way.
Your passport is waiting for you.
No, I already have my passport.
Oh, you already have your passport. Yeah. Oh my goodness,
I actually came here as the AU ambassador, as a Ghanaian citizen.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that. She is ours.
I am coming Nkrumah all the way.
Very good, very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have blessed our our station, and I really appreciate you.
No, thank you for all the work you do, and please continue to speak nothing but the truth.
The truth and help me God.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Lock on Hello Entertainment Box.
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 Every weekday at 12 and 5 p.m., DNT Newsroom brings you the most topical, fact-based, and up-to-date news from Ghana and around the world.
Politics, business, sports, and news from the diaspora, all covered in this comprehensive news update.
If it matters, DNT Newsroom will have it covered.
DNT News, be informed.
Hello and welcome back. Now, Jermaine also had a day down with Mr. Konongo Fojo, who is a Ghanaian, and started the petition of reinstating Ambassador Chihombori Quao. Let's listen.
We're here at the Omni in Park West in Dallas, Texas, and I am delighted to be joined by my old buddy, Konongo Fojo.
That's right.
Konongo, you're looking good. Look at you.
Oh, thank you.
Huh? You look like $1 million.
Thank you.
You made some money and I didn't hear about it.
Oh, well, it's the same old story. Actually, there isn't much,
Wow.
different, yeah.
Wow. What brings you to Dallas?
Oh, well, this time, unlike the previous time when we had a political party convention here in Dallas, this time it is a African Diaspora conference, which has brought me here in Dallas. We are at Omni Hotels and Resorts in Park West of Dallas, Texas here.
Okay. So, what's the conference about? African Diaspora Conference. It looks like diaspora is a hot thing right now.
Oh,
Check this out, Diaspora Network Television. So I guess we're in the right place.
Absolutely.
But what are they here to talk about?
Oh, we are here to talk about, foremost, we need to design a database for diaspora or, Africans outside Africa. Now, I will tell you, when you talk about diaspora, it means that any person outside the main area that you describe in Africa. So we have Africans who are outside Africa, are the diasporians. So we have Africans in America, Africans in the Caribbean, Africans in Asia, Africans in Australasia, and Africans in Europe, or even Africans in Canada, wherever you talk
Basically,
about that.
and you see Africans in Africa. Because if I'm a Ghanaian and I live in Nigeria, I'm at a diaspora.
Yeah, diaspora, that's right.
So let me ask you this. On His Excellency Alain Chabatin, when he was Ghana's ambassador to the United States, he started coordinating the establishment of the Ghanaian diaspora, or Ghanaians in America. To this day, I don't know what came out of it. And I can imagine that was a difficult endeavor, and not too many people stepped up to be registered. If that was so difficult, this has to be very monumental in terms of getting all Africans in a database. How are you going to accomplish that?
Well, actually, I'm the chairman, or you can call me the president of African Diaspora Voice. The conference, the Congress, Congregation of Africans. When I started this movement, I communicated with a lot of Africans that I know that are on my database. We were trying to retract the letter that Musa Faki Mahamat, sent to Dr. Chihombori Quao to dismiss her from office. I find it injustice. I find it very ridiculous and unacceptable. So I started mobilizing people to come out and then speak against that. And then instant, on the very same day, the ambassador was fired on the 7th of October. I communicated with her. I told her that no, you can't be dismissed. I'm against that. And then instant, she communicated with me on the 9th. 7th, she got fired. 9th of October, I got in touch with her and I said, I'm going to start a movement to reinstate you. She was surprised.
Okay,
and
how was that going?
On that very same day, I recruited 3,000 people.
Okay.
The following, by the end, it was Thursday. By Saturday, I had my petition across the globe.
Okay,
and
that's good.
And then,
so the petition that has been going around, you started it.
I started it. You
Very
see
good.
the wedding, everything, what I sent across on the globe, for people on my list.
Okay.
It's the same wedding.
Okay.
And then there's one other African, a brother, Nigerian, who is a Professor Ngawua, Apollos.
Okay.
Was given the opportunity to put his signature down there.
Okay.
It was initially, and then everything was in a haste.
Okay.
I said, go ahead, my brother, and then let's screen it across the globe.
Okay.
So we had signatures, and then right now, just 1 month after, today is what? Today is 9th.
9th, right?
It's exactly a month today, and we are close to 100,000.
That's
signatures.
Good. That is awesome.
Now, this conference today, as you see, you've communicated with the ambassador, and then you have interviewed her just now. My suggestion and our collective understanding is that we are coming to mobilize more people. We have written another petition that we're going to send it to the United Nations. We mean business, brother.
Okay. Once you get this, how many? What's your target number?
I'm targeting 1 million.
1 million
Africans and Friends of Africans.
Once you get the million, then you take it to United African Union.
No.
Where you
don't want to deal with African Union.
Okay.
We are taking right now. We have two issues.
Okay.
The two prongs. We're fighting a two-pronged, approach. The first one was fire Musa Faki Mahamat, the Chadian chairman of the African Union Commission.
Right.
He has contravened the rules and regulation of the African Union.
Why?
Why? Because he cannot singularly, summarily dismiss an envoy.
I read a note that was flying around when your petition came out.
Yes.
And I actually contacted the gentleman. I'm sorry, I don't want to mention his name wrongly.
I know the guy.
But I contacted his spokeswoman, and she told me that basically the letter, I was trying to get a statement from her. She said she basically referred me back to the letter that states that it was the end of her tenure, and they elected not to renew her tenure. What do you have to say about that?
No, that's wrong. Okay. I mean, her tenure ends by the end of 2020.
Oh, really?
She was recruited in 2016, and it's a 4-year tenure.
Okay.
She was recruited by Her Excellency Dr. Nkosazana Zuma, the wife of former President Zuma of South Africa. Professor Zuma is the one who was the chairperson of the seat.
Okay.
And then she looked around for progressive people, and she happened to be one of the best.
Okay. So do you think if her tenure hasn't ended,
nope,
and they fired her, it stands to reason that they actually fired her because of her utterances, because of
her vocal against France. Now we're coming to why France comes into this issue.
Okay.
She spoke about this in the Berlin case, right?
Right.
The Berlin
Conference.
1884 Berlin Conference,
right?
Which started, partitioning Africa.
Right.
That is true.
Okay.
And what did the Europeans do? The Europeans started, partitioning Africa, cutting Africa into pieces the way they wanted, so that they don't fight.
Okay. So now let me ask you this. I'm curious about her tenure. Do we have a letter or an appointment letter that states the duration of her tenure?
Oh yes, there is.
You do that,
Yeah,
and you can produce it for Diaspora Network
absolutely.
Television. Okay.
And it is a fact known, by.
Okay. So if the tenure is not, because I remember reading that her tenure had ended, that's why they elected not to continue.
No, then
and if we have a document that conflicts that, we will be very interested in
absolutely, because the letter that was written by Musa Faki Mahamat does not state the reason why she was fired. So, and it bothers my mind. For instance, the information that you are picking up is from the Pan-African Network, .com material. That is fake.
Okay, so now
it doesn't exist. Nothing like that.
So the Chadian,
I've researched and then we don't find anything like that.
The African Union Commissioner, he's from Chad.
Yeah, he is.
Chad is a former French colony.
Yes.
France is taking money from Chad.
Yes.
And Ambassador Chihombori, Quao, is speaking in defense of that. So why would the commissioner fire her?
Well,
I mean, does that make sense to you? I'm from a country that's paying illegal money to France.
Very good.
I have someone in a position who's speaking about that. And I'm in a position, and I said, no, you're speaking about an issue that's of interest to my country, and still I'm going to fire you anyway. Does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense. That is why everybody is gazing up at what's really going on.
Okay.
Now, here is the case, brother. The French-speaking Africa, right? The France has done strategic, impediment into their lifestyle and their development. Could you even believe that Ofo Boigny was arguing with Kwame Nkrumah? Was it not Ofo Boigny in 1965 who went to Madagascar to challenge Kwame Nkrumah that Kwame Nkrumah's OAU should not work? And in conjunction with the Nigerian, Obafemi Awolowo and those guys stood against Kwame Nkrumah, 25 of them. She spoke about that when you interviewed her, right? Now, these 25 people, these 25 countries that Nkrumah has used Ghana's money to give them independence, stood against the Organization of African Unity. And that became the Monrovia Group.
Yeah.
And Nkrumah and the six other countries, that's right, formed the Casablanca Group.
Okay.
So if the ambassador was saying, if Africa had understood Kwame Nkrumah's principle, we wouldn't be finding ourselves in this, mess. So now, the question that you asked, that why is it that something that really helped the very same, afflicted, appears to be, fought against?
Yeah.
So then, the Côte d'Ivoire and all these countries are those who are hurt by the pact, the criminal pact that
do we have a copy of that pact?
The copy of that, yes, I can get it for you.
Okay.
If you want to.
Okay, please.
I have all the information.
Yes,
Don't worry. And then, so that pact is sucking $500 billion, dollars from French-speaking countries, especially West Africans.
Right.
None of them from West Africa.
Clearly.
And then these are the very same people that we are trying to fight to help them, and they turn around to fight us. Remember that France has even made these French-speaking colonies of Africa, having seats in the French, parliament. So it tells like, if we are telling you to bring your reserves to the Bank of France, then of course it is helping you to develop. But then at the end of the day, you give some few dollars into your pocket, then you keep quiet, and you other people suffer.
I have a final question for you.
Yes, sir.
So this pact that French entered into with the Francophone African countries is saying that you pay us this money because we colonized you.
No,
we did so and so
no,
and so.
No.
What was the reason for that?
It's not you pay us this money. It's not stipulated. You bring all your reserve.
And the reason for that is that they say, fine, it's not a payment. It's like, whatever it is, it's like because we did A, B, C for you when we colonized you, right?
Yeah, so
okay.
then it's a bullying.
Yes.
So what you have in your pocket, bring everything and I'll put it in my fund.
So my question to you and to France.
Yes.
Do you know France just won the World Cup, right?
Yes.
And the players, if I remember correctly, I think about 9 or 10 of the 11 starters were African boys.
That's right. Yes.
So how much does France owe those boys and their family and their countries?
Well, they are players, and they'll be paid based on the amount that they are. So then the individual.
But when France came, they individually also got something. So if Africa owes France, if African countries owe France collectively, then maybe those boys, the countries from which these boys come also deserve something.
Oh yes,
that's something that.
Oh yeah, those countries there are 14 of these African countries,
right.
And these 14 African countries are funding France $500 billion. When I did the mathematics, that is 1 year, and it started in 1958. 1958. This is the reason why Sekuturi was denied even a presidential office. Okay. They literally took everything out, and the President Nkrumah, funded Sekuturi Guinea to come back to the office, and including Mali. That is why President Nkrumah started Ghana, Guinea, Mali to boost the economy because they were just nowhere to sit. And on top of that, they needed to give them all their reserves since 1958. Now, down the road, there have been 26 coups d'etat in Africa. Out of the 26, 16 of them
have been in French-speaking countries.
French-speaking countries. Now, if you make out of the 16, all the presidents were killed. If you did anything untoward to France, you'll be killed. For instance, Sekuturi was killed. Modibo Keita of Mali was killed. Sankara of Côte d'Ivoire was killed. Central African Republic guy was killed. And even look around. How about Patrice Lumumba?
Yeah.
Look at how he was brutally murdered.
Wow.
Just because he wanted his freedom. And all those things that have been set against the French-speaking African countries have been done by France. France is a criminal state. France has been killing and then murdering and then perpetrator of destroying human rights. So France is not supposed to be in the Security Council.
I think this is the beginning of us getting out of those shackles, and I'm happy that I had a conversation with you and with the ambassador.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Are you expecting money from your relations abroad? Have you ever been defrauded of your money remittance? Open an ADB account today. Send your name and your account number to your relations abroad. Ask them to use MoneyGram direct to account service and receive your money in your account in minutes. With MoneyGram direct to account service, there's no PIN code wahala. You can now access your money on all ATMs in Ghana or send it to any mobile money wallet using ADB mobile banking app or shortcode *767#. Visit our branches nationwide to conveniently receive your Western Union, MoneyGram, RIA, Unitylink, Transfast, and Express Money Transfers. Reach us on our Facebook, website, or call our hotline on 0302-210-210 for more information. ADB, truly agri and more.
Wow, this has been a special edition of Diaspora Weekly. My name is Ama Bempoma, and it's been a pleasure sitting in for Jermaine Nkrumah. Thank you for watching. Have a nice